In this video, I want to talk about the thought process that I went through to select my biggest winning stock to date, and just touch a little bit on whether that was more luck or more skill, and what I've gleaned from that process as I kind of go forward in my stock selection process. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jared Ayres. I'm a CFA charter holder. Been managing my own money for over 20 years, and I've created this channel to share with anyone who's interested the thought processes, techniques, strategies, and just general approach I have to investing. So I hope you enjoy. So just to give a little bit of context, several years ago I found myself in a situation where I had some capital to deploy, but I really could only select one stock, more so because of the fees I would incur for having to trade in and out of it. So I wanted to pick a stock that I was never or nearly never going to trade in or out of. So I basically created a shopping list in my screen of what a company like that might look like. So that those parameters, as I've explained in other videos, high return on equity, reasonable debt levels, excellent growth prospects, recurring or predictable revenues, recession resilience, management with a track record of returning high value to shareholders, kind of all of those things wrapped into one. So that's not an easy combination to find in any one stock, especially at a reasonable valuation. But at the time, I did come across one, Constellation software. For those of you who may know it, traded as ticker CSU on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Not necessarily something I find very often, but certainly having found that one, it just really had everything I was looking for. I mean, it's had over 30% return on equity since as far back as I can track it. It's the model basically is a serial acquirer, so growth by acquisition, but the companies that it acquires are in a very fragmented industry, and so the company is able to pick up these acquisitions at a very cheap valuation themselves and then roll them into their own system. These companies that have built the software, it's already built. There's no R&D required, and also the customers of these software companies that get acquired are using the software, as a kind of backbone to their operations, whether that's public sector or private sector. They often, are the core to the businesses that use them. So the risk of, losing a customer really has to do with, the business or the organization failing as a whole. So very, very predictable recurring revenue streams. Those types of things, reasonable debt at the time, even a reasonable valuation compared to today, and the stock has grown as a multi-bagger so far, and I still hold it. Another thing, management being very, very strong and very, very determined in their approach, excellent allocators of capital. At the time I bought it, it had already been a multi-bagger from when it first went public, so had that track record already, and has kind of continued to go higher still. So again, not something I find very often, but certainly a focus on core fundamentals that I saw as helping a company grow kind of indefinitely, and characteristics and fundamentals of a stock that met the certain situation that I found myself in. So I guess kind of coming back to the fundamental question, was this luck or was this skill? I've chosen a ton of losers. I've also missed out on some really huge winners, but I find more often than not, when I stick to the core tenets of value, the fundamentals that really move the needle and really increase value for shareholders, and I look for companies that possess those attributes, it's hard to be wrong most of the time. And really all you need to do is be right, you know, half the time really. Maybe if you can do a little bit more than half the time, then that is a bonus. The thing is with finding home run stocks, so if you do find a company that does possess all those attributes and you know you get it right, I mean there's no saying you will, there's no crystal ball, there's no sure thing in the equity market. But if you do find something like that, the good thing is, you know, the downside to any stock is 100%, right? You'll lose everything you put into it. But the upside is potentially several 100%. So that's one of the nice things, is that if you do find, you know, one of these diamonds in the rough, one of these gems, it can make your, you know, big mistakes look a little bit smaller. As if you let the winners sort of run and grow, it can become a fairly large portion of your portfolio. So, you know, that's just something I found over time. When you do focus on the fundamentals, if your time horizon is long enough, you can really, I think, do some pretty, you know, positive damage in terms of investing, and you know, have people raising eyebrows and asking you how you did that. It takes discipline, it takes you know, some skill in terms of knowing where to look and how to find these things, and it takes, you know, a pretty firm stomach sometimes to you know, get in, stay in, and see it out for the long term. Obviously people like Buffett and those that have sort of are sort of the absolute peak performers in that realm are the examples, but and I don't ever pretend to or even hope to be half as good as he is, but certainly you can glean things from people like that, you know, and understand kind of the core tenets that do drive value for shareholders, and focus on those. So yeah, so hopefully that helped you. Maybe, you know, just understanding again what it is you're looking for when you're out there searching. So I'll include everything in the description that I've gone through as well, so you can refer back to it. So hopefully you did get something out of that short little video. If you did like it, then please by all means give me a thumbs up, hit the like button. If you're new to my channel and you'd like to see more content of a similar nature, then by all means hit the subscribe button. And if you want to drop me a comment, let me know what else you want me to cover, or comment specifically on anything you saw or heard in this video, then by all means hit me up in the comments. Until next time, thank you very much for watching.